Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are going to be talking about VSTs, and more importantly, like third-party VSTs and ones that I would say not essential, but like I really like them, and I think you guys should get them as well. Um, so, in today's video, I'm going to do my top 10 VSTs I would recommend to you. Now, before we get into the video, let's go over the clarifications of why they made this list. So, first of all, I split the list between free and paid. So, there's 5 free, there's 5 paid. Along with that, the reason why they made this list is under 3 qualifications. One, I use them regularly, all except one. Two is I'm getting results that I enjoy and like. And 3 is its versatility, so saying it's not very situational, and overall you can use it throughout many instances of your track, and it's not just a one-stop shop. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, let's get into it. Alright, so I'm in my DAW here, and before we break down exactly what I'm doing by each one, the blue is going to be paid ones you have to get, and the green ones are going to be free. Okay? So starting off first, let me get my headphones on for this. So starting off the list today, I'm sure many of you can probably guess the first one. It is paid. It's a synthesizer. If you don't know what that means, you can create sounds within it, and that would have to go to the king, Serum. Serum has been around for a while now, and it's remained at the top of the market for a particular reason. It's really easy to use. The user interface is amazing, and overall, it can get a variety of sounds. Now, if we open it up, we're gonna. Oh, what is this? Hold up. I think Serum's telling you guys to hit the like button on this video if you guys are enjoying the content. And what is it? Oh, I think it's telling you guys to subscribe as well. So, I'll take a second right here. Go hit the like. Go hit the subscribe. Thank you. Okay. No, but on the real, another cool thing about Serum is you can literally import random pictures. Like I literally just downloaded a PNG of a thumbs up and a thing, and you can make sounds out of this. Like it's kind of crazy. And that's from a picture. Like there's so many things you can do with Serum that I could not even cover it in an hour-long video, but it is the poster child of synthesizers for a reason. It is $199. But the way I would get it is off of Splice. If you go to Splice, I think you pay $9.99 a month for 2 years, and then you own the plugin, which is what I did in February 2019, and then as 2021 this year, February, I now own it. Super cool. You can save all your presets and stuff. Like I want to, grab a bass. We can do. I think we did this one in the last video, right? So we turned it into something else. But like you can save all your presets and all this stuff and go back and play with it. Phenomenal synth, highly recommend it for any producer. And that is number 1 is Serum. So let's move on to number 2 here. Number 2 is another synthesizer. It is free. I don't use it a ton, but that's because Serum is my go-to. I just love my workflow in Serum. I love all the different results I can get. But if I didn't have Serum, then this is definitely it. And number 2 is going to be Vital. Vital has different tiers. You have a free tier, paid tiers. This is the free tier. And they have a ton of great presets, to be honest. Like, that's so sick. Vital is insanely powerful. I love that you can do a dual filter, and the effects are really unique as well. But it's definitely a great starting point for a producer if you're just learning how to synthesize. It is really hard to understand. It does take a while. There is a large ceiling for your skill gap in it. And this can really help you get used to how everything routes together before, say, maybe you want to get Serum. Because a lot of stuff that you apply here applies over the Serum. A lot of synthesizers or new synths kind of are trying to take what Serum's workflow has and integrate it to their own. So you can definitely see unique stuff. Like you can drag your LFO onto stuff, and just like in Serum, we go back, you can drag your LFO onto stuff. Like it transfers over. Phenomenal plugin, and it's free. Just go to the link below with Vital, and you can grab it there. Now the next one here is going to be Soothe. Soothe is a real-time dynamic EQ that cuts out harsh frequencies. And if you're not sure what that means, pretty much means you, with resonance, spikes, and sounds, it's pretty much going to get rid of those. So Soothe it does it in real time. You have a lot of control over it. So to start off, I just grabbed this screech from a library. Now that has some harsh frequencies. Now what we can do is turn on Soothe. They also have tons of great presets. One I really like is Harsh Synth. What it's going to do is it's going to cut down the frequencies real time. You see, watch. So A/B it. Now you have to be careful with this plugin because if you do it too harsh, like the depth or the mix, you are taking out some key things from the sound. So if you just want to take out a little bit, you can pull back the depth, turn down the mix, and then you can have it still pretty close, but pulling out those peak resonance. This is really nice for like group, well, also like singles like that, but like grouping of basses, if you have a lot of layers together, you can put something gently on there, maybe a 50% mix, and you can pull out some of those peaks before you know you go to glue compress it together, or however you want to process it. Soothe is more expensive. I think it's like 200 something. I'd grab it like on sale day, so like Memorial Day, around Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Christmas. They really have good deals in, and that's when I would snag it. I use it a ton, especially my basses, because when I'm processing my basses, you're getting a lot of unneeded noises to come out with the sounds. That makes sense when you're synthesizing. So this really helps me tame, and it prevents me from having to go like into EQ8, listening to the sound and be like, all right, let me pull this down just a little bit, and then listen to frequencies like this. So where I have to waste valuable time, or even grabbing Pro Q3 and dynamic EQing it down. So that's why I really like it. So that is number 3. Next, we have OTT. And you're probably like, this comes with Ableton. And I would agree. This is the Ableton OTT. But Xfer, who makes Serum, also has an OTT plugin that you can get as a third party. And people in like FL or Logic probably have this. OTT is a very strong compression. I don't know if they were joking about it, but it's OTT stands for over the top, is what Duda said. But it is a really strong compression. You're using upward compression and downward compression to kind of box a sound. So if something's lacking or if something's peaking too much, you can definitely see this. So here is just a random bass shot thing I have. And you can see it's wave. And then as we add compression, it's going to more box it. Here we go. So you can see, since the sub was sitting so high, it's going to pull the sub down. And in the lower areas, like the 1 to 300, it's going to bring up a little bit as well. And you can mess with the parameters here, bring more high in, you can bring more low in, mess with how much pressure, or not pressure, the ratio of compression. But OTT is great for helping box your sounds. Now, I wouldn't use a ton of OTT as it will squash your dynamics and just brick everything. So, use it to taste, and maybe only like 50 to 75%. But, listen to it. If it sounds good 100%, roll with it. The one thing you do have to be careful with OTT is time. If you let it go too short, you'll start getting tails. If I can do it. So, And especially if you're doing like a lot of phasing or something that's going to create a really high peak resonance, you can get really bad tails overall. So sometimes you'll have to bounce those audio and cut those out, but that's usually after a ton of compression. Yes, OTT, probably the most common compression in EDM, honestly.
I just put an OTT on it.
Next is going to be a personal favorite, soft clipper. Now, most DAWs have their own soft clipper that works well. If you're an Ableton, you have saturator and you have blue compressor that both have this soft clip knob, and they do wonderful as well. So you can turn that on. The standard clip, I think, just really can do super well at cleanliness through pushing stuff. So here's a drum beat right here. Next drum beat, um, right? And let me pull up standard clip. This is where you're gonna look at. So you obviously have presets, but if you just push your drums, what soft clipping does, for no one that knows, is once you go past the threshold, unlike a limiter, if you go past the limiter is going to push your sound down. If you go anything that goes past this line is chopped off. It's just gone, cut off, gone, goodbye. Which is how you get your dubstep masters so loud, is instead of using like a hard limiter, using a soft clipper. That's just cutting off these transients, so you're getting more brick info. That makes sense. So here is the drum loop, and I'm just going to start gaining it with this EQ into this, and you'll see once it hits past this threshold, it's going to be red, and that's what it's clipping off. So we pushed it about 7.6 dB. You can see we're cutting off a lot of this, and if we were to now take this, we can show you the before and after. Now you see it as that, and then if we flatten it, obviously more bricked. But you can see here, leveled out. This is getting clipped, getting soft clipped, not hard clipped. It's really good and clean at doing its job. So that's why I really like soft clipper. I think it's 25 or 50 bucks. Most DAWs have their own soft clipper, so it's not something you need to get right away. If you're looking for something, I would wait till a sale comes. I think I got it for like 25 bucks, maybe 50. I don't remember. But even then, I would say it's worth its money at full price. But if you can get it on sale, why not? So the next is going to be 2 free in a row. First one is going to be Span. I talk about this in every video. It's free. What I like to do is go to presets, mid side, and then I like to turn mine blue. I don't know why, I just like it. And then I go to my settings here and turn my average time. It's normally like 2000 or something. Turn it all the way down. Go to your side, turn it all the way down here. That lets you see your audio spectrum in real time, and Span is an audio spectralizer, so it just kind of can tell you what you're seeing in real time. I have this on my master at full time on a separate screen always. So I don't always have to drop an EQ to see where exactly everything is. I can literally just play a sound, look over, see how it is. I can play my master, look how things are balanced. Once you learn how to use Span and once you find the levels that you like, I think there's really nothing out there that competes with it. For a while, I would use Spectrum, Ableton's natural born analyzer, and Spectrum still has a lot of good use to it, but Span takes the cake. Its refresh rate's really high. You can hear mid-side stereo. It's just amazing. And I'll show you an example here with this next one, which is the next free thing, which is Labs. Labs is phenomenal. Phenomenal. It's another, it's like a contact, I guess you could say, like a free contact. They have tons of different things that you can download and get. Some of it's like their frozen strings kind of suck. Other than that, like there's so much. I've used this all the time. I love using their ensemble. I'll show you what it sounds like right off the get go. And I'll even pull Span up so you can see what it's like seeing Span. Here's Span, and then here's just a little chord progression thing I made to show the strings off. So here it is. I think the strings sound really good. Now, obviously, you can add velocity to that and edit the velocity. Um, and change that to make it sound even more humanized. But just off the get go, it sounds really, really good. And you can see with span exactly where stuff's hitting. I can see like, oh, I have low end on, or in my low end, I have stereo. So I don't want low or stereo in my low end, so I can just make it bass mono to say like 150. And now we've accomplished. But yeah, labs, they give out free stuff all the time. Grab it. It's phenomenal. I probably use it every track some way or some shape. And get it off their website of labs. Now, next one is going to be showing you the power of a plugin called Trackspacer. Now, I learned about Trackspacer through Trivecta, and usually I use this on my synth group, and then I sidechain it to my main vocal if I have like a lead vocalist or something that really needs a punch in the mix. This allows me to EQ cut exactly where the vocal's coming in. So you could almost think of it as like Soothe, but instead of cutting out resonant frequencies, it's cutting out competing frequencies. So if your vocal is really prevalent at 800, 900, 1000, that's where she sits, then that's where it's going to cut out, and you can choose. So I wanted to show you an example of a Reese and the strings I had. So to kind of show you this is your low cut, so you can choose where it cuts. So let's say like I want to affect 100 and to, let's say 5K. The Reese is going to be sidechained to my strings, okay? So just to let you know what the Reese sounds like on its own, here it is. You want to know what that looks like? Okay, we have span. This thing is phasing really bad. I should turn the width down and I should also low pass it, but for the sake of this video, I'm not, because I want to show you how powerful this Trackspacer is. Now, what I found with Trackspacer, you sidechain it like this and you choose your group. 6 is the violin for me. Now, it all comes down to the depth knob here. Now, I've figured anything between 13 to 20% ratio is really good depth cut. So here we go. We'll play it all together and I'll introduce it slowly. So if we turn it all the way up, or not even around 60, you can barely hear it now in those areas, but and then without, so what I was taught is use this on your synth group or whatever's going to compete with your vocals and sidechain it to your vocal. This saves you a lot of time of having to just, I mean, you can do general EQ scoops out, like if the vocal's kind of sitting here. But, all right, let me pull down my sense just a little bit in this area here because this is kind of where she's sitting. You could do that, but this is going to leave a much tighter mix because in real time, it's going to scope out exactly what needs to be scoped out versus a general EQ. Phenomenal. I think it's 50 to 75 bucks normally, but I got on sale. If you're doing a lot of vocal work, I say snag it for the full price. It's phenomenal, and they're still doing active updates to this day, so it always gets better. And you can always check right here because I know I need an update, so boom. That's cool. So that is Trackspacer, and that one is, like I said, paid. Now we're going to the final two here. Now this one's really fun. It's not a necessary one, but I use it all the time on vocals, and this is Little Altar Boy. People that love Little Altar Boy, it's gonna be, you have Ray Volpe that I think probably uses this the most, but I mean, so many producers talk about this. It is from Sound Toys, and Sound Toys is expensive. I think Little Altar Boy on its own is usually 200. If you get on sale, you can get it for like half that price or maybe 50 bucks. What I would say before getting this is if you're a student, you can get an academic bundle, which is the whole Sound Toys. Let's see, Sound Toys, boom, whole thing, for like 200 bucks. And if you get all of them for 200 bucks, that's a steal. But I wouldn't pay I think it's like 400 or $500 for the usual bundle. Honestly don't really use that many of these things. All I really use is Crystallizer, Decapitator, Echo, and Little Ultra Boy. But that being said, the other ones do have uses, and I've collabed with people that use a lot of these things. It's just something I don't personally. So, Little Ultra Boy, what does it do? Well, it's a pitch and format shifter based on different algorithms. So I'm going to show you this. This has doing nothing to the vocal right now.
Pull up on that shit, on that G shit.
What you could do is the most common thing is like format transposing. So it's and it's super clean.
Pull up on that shit, on that G shit. Pull up on that shit, on that G shit. Pull up on that shit, on that G shit. Pull up on that shit, on that.
You can also link it.
Pull up on that shit, on that G shit. Pull up on that shit, on that G shit.
You can do robotic, which I found is best if you find a harmonic. Otherwise,
pull up on that shit, on that G shit. Pull up on that shit, on that G shit. Pull up on that shit, on that G shit.
And you can also drive it very well. But overall, the variety you can get out of it, phenomenal. Recommend it highly. Okay, last but not least is going to be a free boy, and this one is, I think, the staple or the star child of distortions, even though it's more than a distortion, but it's going to be Camel Crusher. Camel Crusher no longer receiving support, Camel Audio, but it is probably like the serum of distortions. Everyone knows Camel Crusher, and it's so good. One thing that, not dislike, but one thing Ableton I feel really is lacking is a great distortion plugin. Yes, we have Saturator, but it doesn't really add a texture. It's just clean harmonics. Where I want something that's really gonna distort a bass or something, Camel Crusher can do this. Now, they have tons of different modes. Annihilate, way over the top. It's going to punish a sound, but it can get really cool, I think. They have tons of them. The most common one, I would say, is British Clean. It's a very clean distortion. It's going to be a little bit of compressing as well. So I'm going to start with just a basic sine from Serum here. See, and I have an EQ so you can see the harmonics that are being introduced. Because when you add distortion, you're adding harmonics to a sound. So, okay, cool. Now if I add Annihilate, next, I have American Crunch, American High Gain, if you need to add high end to something, obviously, probably not 100%, and British Clean, all the way up, off. It's such a great distortion for all sounds, in my opinion. Yeah, you can really put it on anything between its compression and distortion. That works phenomenal. It works on Mac and Windows. It is free. I think it does have some issues with some versions. I know when Ableton 11 first came out, it was having UI issues. It still worked. You just have to do everything from like down here, which could be kind of annoying. But since then it has been fixed, I believe. But those are my top 10 VSTs that I use in my everyday production. If you have any questions about any of the VSTs, please feel free to hit me up. I probably respond to everyone on here. And yeah, I hope this gives you some insight on maybe something you can add or maybe you didn't know about that could fit your needs as a producer. But if you like the content today and you're still watching, first of all, because this is a longer video, I appreciate it. You know, really appreciate you guys hitting the like button for me, and you know, love seeing the community grow every single day. If you guys have any recommendations on any videos, feel free to let me know. I'm very open to them. And other than that, have a wonderful day and take care, everyone. I'll catch you in the next video.